Some of you already itching. You already like scratching like, organization, I don't want any part of it. But you know what? We probably need to get us some pest control vests. What y'all think? Those 3 are being discontinued forever. Can somebody say forever? Forever. If you're allergic to organization, I still want you to get this lit at. Yes, I said it and I believe it. August is one of the busiest months in the gardening season. You may be thinking it's a slowdown month, but it is absolutely not. It makes all the difference between what you do in August, how your summer garden is going to end, and how your fall garden is going to begin. In this video, I'm going to be giving you your August garden to-do list, 12 things that you need to be focused on in the month of August. And I want you to take notes, put me in your ear, do whatever you need to do to get these 12 things that you need to be doing in your garden in the month of August. In August, we kind of have a dual brain. We are wrapping up our summer season, although it's not over yet, but we're also thinking about the fall. And so you have to be diligent and intentional in the month of August so that you can end summer well and so that your fall garden can get off to a good start. If you are brand new here, my name is Barbara. Thank you so much for stopping by. I live in Tennessee in Zone 7B. And this list is for everybody, no matter what zone you're in. And obviously anything that is date sensitive, you would modify it based on your growing zone. And so if you are new here, please say hello in the comments. Let me know what city, state, and country you're coming in from. And also, if you've been here before, thank you so much for continuing to show up time after time on my channel. We have a lot of new people here, and so I'm excited that the community is growing, and I believe that this is one of the best YouTube communities on the internet. Yes, I said it and I believe it. And it's because of all of you. So if you are new here, I'm sitting in my outside garden, which is 4,000 square feet. We have 3 main gardening spaces. So as you subscribe and watch my videos, you'll be able to see all those spaces and what we do in a lot of those. Also, I just did a video on last week talking about that you can still plant in the month of August. So I'm going to reference that video right up here. And so I did a video by growing zones. And so you don't have to worry, am I just talking Tennessee speak or Zone 7 speak? In the video that I'm linking up here, I went through every growing zone and talked about the warm season crops that you can still plant in the month of August. I didn't even go over cool season crops. I only went over warm season crops. And so I definitely want to link that video right up here. But let's just jump into today's video about the 12 things you need to be doing in the month of August. Now, I've been doing these monthly garden to-do list videos for, I would say, almost a year. I think I did the first one like in November, if I'm not mistaken. And you guys really liked it, so we've kept it going. And basically, y'all, I make a to-do list of what I need to get done for everything in my life. I have a personal to-do list, I have a business to-do list, and I have a garden to-do list. Now, for some of you already itching. You already like scratching like, organization, I don't want any part of it. But if you like, you my girl, you love organization, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. This is the channel for you. And if you don't like organization, if you're allergic to organization, I still want you to get this list. You do it however you want to do it. Maybe you want to write it down. Maybe you won't write it down. I suggest you do. But even if you don't, maybe there'll be 1 or 2 things that will stick in your brain. You're like, I need to do that. So definitely, let's jump into the list. But I strongly believe that intention is so important when it comes to gardening and really anything in your life. And so this is my to-do list that I'm sharing with you. And as you watch my videos all through the month of August, you're going to see me doing the to-do list, right? I don't just come up with this list because it's cute. It's really what I do for the month. And so if you want to be a successful gardener, if you want to have abundance in your garden, this is the list of what you should be focused on in the month of August. So let's start with number 1. Number 1 is August is when the time you're going to be planting your fall garden. If you're going to do a fall garden, this is the time that you should be planting your fall garden and direct sowing the seeds that need to be direct sown, like your beets, your carrots, your radishes, and things like that. So that is number 1. If you're not having a fall garden, why not? Why not? I know that many of you may take the fall off, but if you have not made a choice to take the fall off and you're just thinking, man, the summer is over, I can't grow any more food, you are mistaken. You can grow food. You absolutely can grow food. And so I did a whole fall gardening workshop about 2 or 3 weeks ago. We had an amazing time, and they have their plan about what they're going to plant for the fall garden. But number 1 is make sure that you are planting your fall garden in the month of August. Now for me, we started seeds about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then I'm going to be doing another round of seeds this week, so you will be seeing that in the upcoming video. And I will direct sow the seeds I'm going to direct sow, I will do that more towards the end of August. But then that leads me to the number 2 one, which is transplanting your fall seedlings. And so for me, I've already started seeds. I will be starting more seeds. I usually try to give my seeds at least a 4 to 5 week jump when I start them before I plant them out. Okay, so August is the month that I will start planting or transplanting the seeds that we have already sown together and that we started indoors. Okay, so number 1 is plant your fall garden, the things that need to be direct sown, like your beets, your carrots, your radishes. And if you decide that you want to direct sow your lettuce and things like that, you absolutely can. But number 2 is to transplant the seedlings that you've already started indoors or outdoors for your fall garden. For me, I choose to mostly start my seeds indoors and then transplant them out. So I'm going to be really heavy on number 2, but I will direct sow carrots, beets, and radishes. Those 3 things I will absolutely direct sow, and I will be doing that more towards the end of August. And then for my transplants, I will be putting them out the last week of August, the first week of September. Number 3 is succession plant anything that is a warm season crop that you want to still have as part of your fall garden. So your fall garden can also be warm season crops that you're doing another succession of. And so we talked about that in the video that I mentioned before about things that you can still plant that are warm season in the month of August. And so if you're confused by that, go ahead and watch that video by Growing Zone and I tell you the things. But succession plant your beans, your melons if you're in grows 8 or above, any type of green beans, cucumbers, and squash. You could also be succession planting that stuff right now in the month of August. Again, know your first or estimated first frost date. If you're in zone 7, that's around October the 20th. And so we have at least about 78, 79 days until that first frost. So anything that has a days to maturity that is below 70, you are game to go ahead and do another succession. Now, at the time of this video, this is the first week of August. It's like August the 3rd, right? And so if you're going to succession plant, I suggest that you do that this week. Right now, if you're in zones 8 and above and you have a little bit more time than zones 7 and below, then you may have another extra week or so. But I would not start those things at the end of August, right? If you don't have enough time and enough margin. Also, the things that you want to be transplanting as well or direct sowing could be your fall potatoes. If you're doing a fall round of potatoes, this is the week or last week is when you should be doing that, right? Especially if you're in zone 7. And if you're in zones below me, you need to make sure that you have at least a good 70 to 80 days to get your fall potatoes in. And you make sure that you're choosing an early season, an early maturing potato crop. So again, I'm doing my fall potatoes this week. I'm right on the cusp, right? Ideally, I would have done them last week, but situation did not happen, and so we're going to do it this week. So number 1, you want to direct sow or start to plant your fall garden, the things that are direct sown. Number 2, you want to transplant your fall seedlings. And then number 3, you want to succession plant any warm season or cool season crops like lettuce and things like that. Maybe you've already done a round of lettuce and you want to do another one. That is number 3, it's a succession plant. Now let's talk about number 4 on the to-do list. So number 4 on the to-do list is to be harvesting daily in the month of August. August, again, is going to be a heavy producer, especially for those that are in a little bit of a cooler climate than zone 7. You guys are behind like in zones 6 or even sometimes in zone 8. You may still be you're still having summer harvest, but it may actually be at its peak. For me, I'm still having harvest daily, but I would say that my peak month is usually July, not August, but I'm still harvesting quite a bit. My husband just harvested a nice basket just yesterday. In the month of August, August the 2nd, he just harvested a nice basket of stuff, and we still, I'm looking out here, he didn't even get half of it. We still have stuff to harvest, but you want to harvest every single day. One, to make sure that your production stays up, and so that the plant does not think, oh, we're done. And then also just to keep things moving and to keep things in production and to make it continuous. Number 5 is this, is making sure that you have a plan and that you are preserving your stuff. So as you're bringing it in from the house, you have a plan on whether you're going to freeze it, whether you're going to dehydrate, whether you're going to can it, pressure can, water bath can, freeze dried, whatever your method is, make sure that you have a plan for the remaining crops that you are harvesting on a daily basis. There are so many times when food is lost on the vine because we're not harvesting on a regular basis and it dies on the vine, especially things like your tomatoes and peppers. Your peppers can get sun scald if you're in an area that has a lot of high direct sun, but then also your tomatoes can get eaten by the pests before you get them. So it's important to harvest daily. But also I see that food, and I'm talking from personal experience, you will harvest it, you'll do a good job there, but it goes into your house and before you can preserve it, it rots on your counter because either you don't have a plan or you have not allocated the amount of time to make sure that it is preserved properly. And so make sure that you have a plan to preserve. Now, I've also done 2 videos and I plan on doing more. There'll probably be another one posting this week about what do I do when I harvest food from my garden and take it into my kitchen. I will pop both of those right back here, back to back, so that you can see those videos and I give you tips on how to preserve many different types of crops. Corn, green beans, tomatoes, and several different recipes on things that you can do to preserve. And I have more coming. So definitely make sure that you're preserving your food. Okay, number 6 is this in the month of August is you got to keep your tomatoes pruned. Now, if you're like me, your tomatoes are looking kind of sick, right? I'm still getting tomatoes, but I'm not nearly getting the amount that I have. Now, for me, my tomatoes in my greenhouse have been in there since the last week or mid-April to the last week of April. And then my tomatoes out here have been out here since the last week of April. And so for my zone and for when I planted them, they are definitely on the decline, which is normal. Tomatoes don't typically last for me past August. So by the end of August, they'll probably pretty much be done. But what I've already started doing is I've taken away the dead leaves and making sure that I keep them pruned. Even though they may look sickly, make sure that you keep them pruned so they have a good amount of airflow, so they have that you can see the pest readily available, maybe when it first gets there versus it being there for a very, very long time. So make sure that you keep your tomatoes pruned. Put that on your to-do list for the month of August. And as you're pruning, you want to make sure that you're removing the suckers, you're getting the lower leaves so that you have at least a foot or 2 at the bottom so that there's good airflow. And then anything that looks bad, go ahead and take it off. Don't leave the diseased or the burnt foliage looking stuff on there. So just clean it up and keep it pruned all throughout. Now let's talk about number 7 on the to-do list. Number 7 is making sure that you're feeding and fertilizing your heavy producers. Now, I think that you should be fertilizing your entire garden, but especially make sure that you are feeding the heavy producers, your tomatoes, your corn, your peppers, your cucumbers, things like that. Now, I have another succession of corn in my garden. Corn is a heavy nitrogen feeder, so I'm having to make sure that I'm keeping it fed so that it grows up. Now, a lot of us, we start off really good. We start off at the beginning of the gardening season, we're fertilizing, we're doing all the things, and then it starts to taper off. One, because it becomes to be so much because you're harvesting on top of the fertilizing, on top of the watering and all of that. But then also, as the season goes on, we kind of lose a little bit of that umph. Hey, I understand. I've been there. This is what I call the summer press, right? But I'm encouraging you as much as possible to stay on top. And if nothing else, the things that are heavy feeders, make sure that you are giving them what they need. Now, someone asked me, in an earlier video, when I talk about fertilizing the heavy feeders, how often am I doing that? So let me give you an example of my corn. When I first put the corn in the ground, I'm going to fertilize it with nitrogen, specifically to make sure that it has a good dose to get started. The same thing with my tomatoes, okay? And then usually when it comes to corn, in another 3 to 4 weeks, I'm going to give it another heavy dose of nitrogen, okay? And then in another 3 or 4 weeks, I'm going to give it another healthy dose of nitrogen. And so if I am doing a corn that is like 75 to an 80-day maturity, it's at least getting 3 doses, if not 4, of a heavy feeding specific to that nutrient that it needs. Now, that's not the only time it's being fertilized. I am fertilizing my garden ideally weekly, if not every 2 weeks, with a balanced fertilization type schedule. So that is, I'm using Ultra by AgriGrow, which is a prebiotic. It's going to help your plants to respond to stress better. I'm also using organicrev.com and I'm using a fish emulsion. That is what I'm doing all the time for all of the plants. But when I talk about heavy feeding, specifically corn and tomatoes, I'm giving it specifically nitrogen at those blocks of times that I mentioned above. So make sure that you're staying on top of fertilization and that you have a keen eye on the things that are heavy feeders in your garden and that you're doing that in the month of August. Because again, remember, the things that you do now is going to dictate whether you end the summer strong or you end it weekly, and then how well your fall garden gets started. Number 8 is, again, you got to be on top of pest control. think about when you go out to your garden, just pretend like you got on a pest patrol vest. You know, we talked about in an earlier video, remember, for those of a certain age, you had school patrol. If you were privileged enough to be on the school patrol, you were out there directing traffic, telling people, stop, park here, let your kid out here. You did all the things, right? And you even had a little special vest. So just imagine that you got your own vest. You know what? We probably need to get us some pest patrol vests. What y'all think? Do I need to sell some pest patrol vests that we can wear in the months of June, July, and August? Okay, let me say focus. Listen, you got to be on pest patrol, meaning you got to be scouting and looking for the pests. You cannot go in your garden casually with your cup of coffee and tea and never land. There's a time and a place for that. But at some point during the day, you need to be in your garden looking intentionally for the pests because they show up in the month of August if they have not already shown up. Now, in June, I had Japanese beetles. In July, I had the hornworms. And now I think it's flea beetles is what I'm seeing on my eggplant. If you can address the problem early, you have a much better chance of saving your crops versus letting it go on and on and on. And so make sure that you are on pest patrol in the month of August. Now let's move on to the next one on our list, which is number 9. In the month of August, you need to be very focused on watering deeply. For a lot of us, especially like in the South, Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, it gets extremely hot. Like August is the peak of heat and humidity, I know, in my area. And so you have to make sure that you are watering deeply and staying on top of the watering. I know that some of you are in a drought, and so you're having to do even more than those of us who have had 50 days of rain, right? And so this particular week, like it's supposed to rain this afternoon, which is why I came out now. But the temperatures are mild this week. But last week we had heat advisory. We had 95-degree temperatures with 105 heat index. And so again, when you're seeing temperature shifts like that in your weather, pay attention to the weather, make sure that you're watering deeply. And when I say deeply, it is better to water deeply and consistently, like deep versus shallow, like going out there every day for 5 minutes with a hose pipe versus letting it water for 30 minutes is going to be much different. And so making sure that your plants have what they need, and hopefully you have your stuff mulched, which is also going to help with water retention, or moisture retention, I should say. Now for me, we are on drip in about 95% of our spaces. And so this is a big load that is taken off me that I don't have to manually water. I only have to manually water a certain level of containers throughout my garden. Everything else is on drip, which works out very good, and we have it on a schedule. Okay, so make sure that you're watering well in the month of August. Now let's talk about number 10. Number 10 is making sure that you're removing the crops that are bad. Now, I know for some of you, you're like, oh, I don't want to pull anything out, but it is important that you do that for a couple of reasons. One, if it's no longer producing and it's making your garden look bad, it's got time to go ahead and take it out. If you know it's at the point past the point of no return, go ahead and take it out. That also means maybe the crop is okay, but you need to take off some of those damaged leaves, and maybe you need to deadhead. But things that are completely gone, like I have a couple of tomato plants, or not more than a few tomato plants that were completely salvaged and destroyed by hornworms. It's not coming back, and if it is, I'm like, I don't even want to take the time to keep looking at this dead plant and for it to come back. And so I just pull those plants up, right? You got to be able to do that. So for one, just for the aesthetics of it. Number two, so that the disease doesn't spread. And then the third thing is now time to start be thinking about where your fall crops are going to go. Unless you have two separate spaces, like a fall space and a summer space, many of us are using the same spaces for our fall crops. And so as things are going bad, you're looking to see, okay, where am I going to put my fall stuff? I was going through my garden this morning thinking about, okay, the first round of fall things, where are they going to go? And so I'm looking at my beds that are less than stellar versus the ones that I just did another round of new plants. Okay, well, obviously the ones that have the new plants in it, I'm not going to touch that, but I have a bed or two that has older crops in it. I have some herbs that are overgrown that I could cut back. I could take out some crops that's no longer producing and make space for fall. And so remove the spent plants in your garden. Go ahead and tidy up. Get rid of the things that are no longer producing for you. That's okay, so that you can make room for either a succession plant of some more warm season crops, or you have a space for your fall crops. Okay. So that's number 10, is removing the spent crops. Number 11 is you got to be thinking already now about planning for the frost. Okay. So know your first estimated frost date, but those those that are going to have a fall garden, you need to be thinking, do you have insect covers for that period between now and when the temperatures die back? For me, when I put my fall crops out at the end of August, I'm going to cover them with insect crops because pest pressure in my area will still be high. But also, I need to make sure that I have frost cover so when the temperatures drop and I want to extend my season, even in my high tunnel, I have frost covers ready to put on them, right? Maybe you're going to do your fall garden in green stalks. Do you have the insect covers and the frost covers for green stalk? So be thinking about right now planning for your frost. Go ahead and order the things that you don't have. It's much better for you to have it on hand versus you look at your phone and the temperature's going to drop that night and you're like, oh, I forgot to order that. Go ahead and put it on your to-do list right now. The other thing, if you're not having a fall garden, you still need to be thinking about planning for the frost, right? Make sure that you have mulch. If you're not going to use your spaces for fall, do not just leave bare soil. Cover your beds with mulch, with straw, with hay, with something so that it's protected. Bare soil is not good. It needs to, when you cover it, it's going to help with soil erosion, and it's also going to help with just protecting the soil, keeping it moist, and keeping it ready for when you want to come back in the spring. So whether you're growing a fall garden or not, you still need to be thinking about the frost coming and make sure that you have what you need. Okay, so keep hanging with me because I also at the end, I'm going to give you a couple of sales that's going on with green stalks so that you know what's coming up. But we're going to get to that at the end. We're almost near at the end. And so now we're at number 12, the very last one, which is take garden notes. This is one that I feel like it is so key and so important. What do I mean by taking garden notes? I want you to be thinking right now, either do it on your phone. If you have a garden journal, a garden planner, go ahead and start writing down the things that it did really well this summer, the varieties that you tried that you really love, and also the things that just bombed that you're like, I'm never growing that again, or I'm never going to put it right here. Like, go ahead and take notes. If you think that you're going to remember next summer, you better than me. You are better than me because I want to remember. But there's something about wanting to remember and it actually happening. There's a whole big gap. Okay. And so for me, I have to take notes about what went well, what did not go well, what spaces. Like, for example, I have an issue right now or concern. I'm growing some delicata squash in a raised bed. I never should have done that. I did not do my research enough, and I just kind of did it without really researching. It needs way more space than that raised bed with a whole bunch of other stuff. It has completely taken over. And so now I'm like, okay, it's already kind of far gone. It's my first time doing it. I want to see what's going to happen. I want to see if I like the squash. So I don't want to rip the plant up. But my other plants in that bed are suffering because it has just gone wild. It needs like 3 or 4 feet of space every which way. And had I thought about that and had I known that, I would have put it outside in the ground or in a raised bed by itself, which I don't have a raised bed that would have been open that was by itself. And so for me, let's say I love the delicata squash, but in my notes, I will put, do not put in a raised bed. Takes up too much space, right? I could go on and on. I've already started taking notes on my phone. Also, varieties that you've heard another YouTuber or gardener say that works really well and they're in your area, you want to try it. Put the notes down on your phone. Put it in your garden journal so that when it's time to order seeds in the winter of next year, you already have that stuff there, right? Already have that stuff there. So that is number 12. And y'all, let me just give you a bonus because that is what I do. I make sure that you have everything that you need. Number 13 is make sure that you are starting to save your seeds, especially if it's a crop that you're pulling out already, that you know it's done. Make sure that you have a plan to save your seeds. We'll talk more about that later on this month. I will probably do a video about saving seeds either this month or in September because I usually save my seeds more towards the end of the month, more into September because I still have stuff that's just growing and growing in my garden. But if you're one that you have some stuff that you're already pulling out, then just make a mental note on your August to-do list is that anything that you want to save that you're pulling out, go ahead and set those seeds to the side to save them, okay? So that's 13 things, y'all, that you need to be focused on in the month of August. Now, I want to give you a reminder. I talked about this on previous 2 monthly garden to-do lists for June and July, but I want to mention it again in case you missed it or in case you have not done it, and that is to order your garlic. If you have not ordered your garlic, when this video ends, go order it right now. Order it right now, because September and October and November are generally the months that you're going to be planting your garlic. You plant your garlic in the fall so that you can harvest it in the summer. You don't plant your garlic in the summer. You don't plant it in the spring. You plant it in the fall. And so for me, I'm usually planting my garlic at the end of September. Okay. And so you still have time, but I'm telling you, the longer you wait, you're going to be subject to not being able to find it or not being able to get the varieties that you want. Now, I get my garlic from Mad River Garlic Growers. I've been using them for the past 4 years. That's pretty much the main company that I use. I have bought some from King Garlic before. It was an elephant garlic. They did just fine. And I've also bought some from, not Bootstrap Farmer, Epic Gardening last year. It did fine. But the bulk of my garlic order has always come from Mad River Garlic Growers. I'm not affiliated with them. If you want to check them out, go right ahead, or just get it wherever you normally want to get your garlic. But make sure that you put your garlic order in if you have not. So y'all, I done gave you 13 things and a reminder. Let me also tell you about 2 green stock sales. That one that's going on right now at the time of this video. At the time of this video today, on Monday, there is a flash sale on all plant support items at greenstalkgarden.com. I will put a graphic up here. It's just for today. So if you see this video after Monday, I'm so sorry you missed it. But if you're on my Instagram, I posted it at the top of the morning, right? And so if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram at livingfoods_farm, okay? Because there's a lot of times I can put it out there a lot quicker than I can on YouTube, okay? So there is a plant support sale, flash sale today only for Greenstock. But also there is a sale coming up in the month of September called a harvest sale. And there's going to be 3 colors that are going to be slashed, reduced prices, because they're no longer going to offer it. They're being discontinued. The colors are terracotta, rusted red, and glacier blue. And so if you have been wanting one of those, if you missed it at the warehouse sale and you want to get it, this is going to be your time to get it. It's going to be in the month of September. We're just telling you about it early so you can go ahead and save your coins, okay? Rusted red, glacier blue, and terracotta. Those 3 are being discontinued forever. Can somebody say forever? Forever. So don't say I didn't tell you. And of course, as the time comes and the sale is actually going on, I will definitely put that in the Instagram group as well as the YouTube group. But go ahead. I wanted to give you an advance notice on that. Okay. So y'all, this is your monthly to-do list for the month of August. If you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right, like what you waiting on right now. Especially if you didn't made it all the way to the end of the video, go ahead and hit subscribe, because obviously you like being here, right? And I want you to be here. So definitely hit that subscribe button. Remember, y'all, this is all a journey, but I'm so glad that we get a chance to do it together. I'll see you next time, friend.